Hello everyone, welcome in. Thank you so much for being here today. So today is going to be a reading, of course, and in today's reading we're going to be looking at heavy emotions. So it could be something that's happened a long time ago, recently, or that you're going through now. This is going to be guidance on how to move through it, how to help yourself, how to really guide yourself through any challenges. Of course, you have beautiful guides, angels, whatever you believe in, really, guidance from the other side. And here is going to be a reading on how to really help yourself, how to feel back into who you truly are and not be dictated or led by past events. So let's take a look. We'll pull some cards and see which pile's really calling to you. I'll leave the descriptions and the timestamps of each pile, descriptions being the card, whatever comes through, in the description below. Have a look at that and you can jump straight to your video. But yeah, I really wanted this to be, I really want these readings to be helpful, to help you now to deal with the past things, the things in the now, so that you can really direct yourself towards goals that you want in the future. There's benefit in knowing what's going to happen in the future, right, in a global sense. But for us as individuals, we need to, try to sort out what's going on now to get to where we want to go. Get that little bit of dust off there. Okay, anywho, let's take a look at your cards. I'll take this one. And relax, this is a time for yourself. Even just this reading might give you some sense of peace because you're taking time out of your day to, to think, to consider, and to feel into your own energy. So it's dust popping up. I feel like I hit this just then. This is probably going to be like a guidance in regards to this reading today. There's a lot of cards that are touching in on the inner soul, on the self. And this one here is a, what do you call it? Ammonite. Some kind of ammonite. Fossil. It's kind of cool. Has a little divot here with like crystals inside. Camera doesn't really pick up all the little shimmers and shines of it. Anywho, let's get into your reading. So for part 1, you have the Archangel Adnachiel and the Tiger's Eye, Tiger Spirit Rises. Okay, crystal number 444. For pile number 2, you have the Goddess Maya and the Ruby Aura Quartz with Searing Presence. This is crystal number 888. It's trying to merge Ruby and Aura together. Okay, and for pile 3, you have the Goddess Wang with Stromatolite with Rare Success. Okay, I'm going to leave these 3 cards here. Pick whichever one's really calling to you, whichever one you feel, lights up. If you want to think about the things that are your folk, what's causing you kind of like difficulties or challenges, please do that. Take your time with this. There's no rush. Pause if you need to. I'll give you some time in a moment to pick your pile, and then you can jump straight into your reading, and I'll see you there. Welcome. Hello, pile number 1. Welcome to your reading. So you have decided to choose Adnachiel coming through with Tiger's Eye. I was thinking with the cards that came out, I was like, did these cards come out similar to last week's? I don't know. I can't remember exactly. But if cards are coming through again and again in similar spots, or maybe even in different spots, maybe there's a message there. But regardless, I didn't want to impact anyone's choices, so I decided to just say nothing. And you know, you've come through on this one, and I can't remember if this one came through, but a lot of angels have been popping up from this deck. Anyhow, this is talking about Tiger's Eye. Makes a lot of sense with Tiger Spirit Rises, you know, that keen sense, that energy brewing. And also Adnachiel does talk about independence, like it's the angel of independence, of coming into your own, helps people pioneer new things. Uniqueness. So this energy is rising. You may have already processed a lot of the stuff. There may be just lagging bits and pieces that cause you, I don't know, get out of harmony, get out of peace. I would almost just say that's not for you to feel bad about. It's almost like part of yourself is just reminding you of how strong you are and how much you've overcome. So you've already gone through the hard bits. This is the not easy bit, but this is the, like, you know, the, I guess, process or work, so to speak. You went through the event, and now this is the aftermath, the dealing with the aftermath. Can't say that the event is going to be easier than the aftermath, right? But regardless, here you are. Regardless, here you are. All right, Tiger Spirit Rises. Love this for you. This is like getting back into who you truly are, that strength. It's not letting the tiger run free, right? The tiger doesn't always pounce and pounce and pounce. The tiger is cautious. The tiger is beautiful as well. And the tiger is like kind of like a mystery in a sense. I wouldn't go down too far of a mystery, but just like tiger has layers and levels. There's no, they're going to do XYZ type thing. This is like multifaceted is what I want to say. Okay, sorry if there's noise. Neighbors are still building their house next door. It should take another few months, but today they've got a lot of, I don't know, stuff, wall stuff. I don't know, wood and things like that. So, bit of noise. But anywho, we'll have a look at how you can process any heavy emotions, any heavy things that weigh you down. Now, this won't be the fix all that ends all. This can be like the assistance that you may need now, or it could be just something to process something from the past. You know, take it with what resonates to your particular feelings, because we have full responsibility and control of what we do with those feelings. We have to, one, acknowledge them, of course. If you're, even if they're like, oh, I shouldn't feel negative towards this person. If you feel negative, say it, and then see why and where that's coming from, because that's speaking truth into the matter. Okay. But really like the one you've chosen, Tiger Spirit, Adnachiel. Nice energy. It's about claiming sovereignty over yourself. And how do you do that? Claim sovereignty and honesty and truth over what's happened so that you can start to shift and move things. I feel like I'm doing almost a whole reading without cards, so I'll get into the cards and then we'll have a look at what comes through. Might be a little bit squished today. I tried to zoom the camera out, but the camera does what the camera does. Okay, these two really want to come through. Have had a good shuffle as well. All these cards besides this one are created by, or at least even illustrated by Australians. So that is also interesting, I don't know, piece of information, I guess. Seems to be a lot of spiritual people here. I guess you don't really notice things until you start looking, right? You don't notice. If you were never looking for psychics, you wouldn't see them. until you start looking, they become into your reality. And it's like they're always there, you just didn't see them. Guess that's like many things. Okay. We can do 2 now. Okay. So the tarot deck today is the Unveiling the Golden Age. It is a bit more of a mix of tarot with oracle, so I'm going to read it as I see it. As always with all the cards, I don't read traditionally, I guess. I've always gone more intuitively with a mix. A lot of influence, a lot of like feeling it out as I go. So let's take a look at your reading today. You've got recognized divine timing. So this could speak to a few things. It could be many little things. Sometimes it could be like missing appointments or something like that. And then it doesn't like, that's not where the issue came from originally, like as to how you respond or react, but it kind of like triggers stuff. It's not like you missed it on purpose or anything like that. It could be like, I don't know, the bus was delayed or the plane was delayed or things like that, you know, something like that. There's always, I always feel anyway, take this or leave it, but there's always like purpose and reason for things happening, everything. And maybe some of the stuff we wish didn't happen. The fact of the matter is it has happened and you're here. You know, you've missed flights or something like that, but you're still here today. You've had horrible accidents or people do horrible things, but you're still here today. Now, with the divine timing coming through, it's kind of saying that this is a good time to start processing whatever you're going through. I just realized it's the 1st of July too, so it's a new month. Also, it is an interesting month. There's a lot going into retrograde. So yesterday, I believe, Neptune went into, no, what was it? Saturn went into retrograde. And tomorrow, I believe, or in the next few days, Neptune goes into retrograde. And then at the end of the month, Mars goes into retrograde. So there's a lot of like slowing down kind of energy. People think that that means negative, opposite, right? It doesn't always. It can mean many different things. But not an astrologer, but I just feel like those kind of energies when we go into retrograde is the slowing down to reflect, to look at. So it may be a good time to do that. Now, with divine timing, this is recognizing divine timing for you to know that this is a good time to work through these heavier emotions. And that could be now, it could be in the future, like this month at some stage. Not to like fully complete it, but just to start breaking away some of the walls or the whatever you want to visualize it as. Could be like treacle or something, and starting to like, you know, clean the slate and get rid of that old treacle, for example. You've got pride coming through as well. An interesting one. Pride is talking about taking responsibility. Now, that doesn't mean you take responsibility for other people's actions, but taking responsibility in a sense for your own and what you do with the information from the past. This is about rising, but not about like revenge and attacking or anything like that, or letting the ego drive you. So really nice card, but you know, there's many facets to this. And remember, we're trying to work through challenging stuff, so this is going to get into more deeper stuff than, you know, the what blessings are coming type readings. Yes, you also have a victim consciousness. This is like the energy of being stuck or making excuses for why we do things. It's like, you know, how some people say, oh, I did this because my moon is in Pisces or something like that, and so of course I do this. So it kind of excuses behavior. Things aren't just doing things to you so that you're allowed to respond and react in a way that you want to. Take ownership for how you respond and react. Don't judge it. Just be honest with like, is that truly me? Because you want the true you to come out in the way that feels self-honoring and that's right to you, and supportive to others as well. You don't want it to come out in a way that doesn't feel resonant to you, like sharp or like slow or anything like that. You want it to come through just honestly. You also have intuition. This is confused and clear, so you might even be quite intuitive. And it's a tough one. It's not tough as in difficult, but with intuition, you can utilize it in a way that's like, oh, okay, so that's what this is. When it could be ego, right? So it's like, well, how do I differentiate between the two? Is one coming from love, or is one coming from fear? Is one coming from compassion, or is the purpose of what you're deciding to do coming from anger or hate? That's really where it feels like it's right to start thinking about it. When it comes from fear, or like repeating a cycle, or like something like that, if it's like anger or something like that, is that egoic? The intuitive part could be directing you to that, asking you is like, what you're doing, is that regards to ego and things like that. But that's how I would best try to explain that. And you'll know if it's coming through to get this person back for what they did, is if this is coming through to be angry at this person for something that they could do, or is it anger itself, or like what was I trying to say? Like judgment of self-judgment, self-esteem, judgment. This is about building you up. You're not processing some of this or dealing with this in this reading to harm yourself. This is really about building yourself back up and slowly taking responsibility for the things that you say and do, and working on rectifying that if there's any healing involved, then taking those steps. How people respond is their choice, but how you respond is your choice. So even if you want to apologize to someone, or vice versa, get an apology for someone, it's hard to know how they're going to respond. So you just do what you feel is correct and where it's coming from. If you're coming from a place of wanting to apologize so that you can get back in their good books, that could be like egoic, right? If it's to actually apologize for whatever's occurred, then that feels more intuitive and more honest. Maybe just consider those things. I don't want you to take this as like telling you off or anything, but that's where the confused and clear, it's like this will clear things up, whether it's like coming from a place of love or a place of like gain, or like power or ownership or something like that. Yeah, we've got judgment here, critical and complementary. It's right next to victim consciousness too. So we can be pretty rough on ourselves, and we can blame others for everything, really. We can blame anyone for anything. It's like, it's this person's fault that I'm like this. It's that person's fault. It's my parents' fault that I'm like this. Have to clear some of that, to take responsibility for how you respond and react in the now. Absolutely not saying that whatever happened can't shape us, but we're strong souls. We have a lot of ability to help. This reading might even be for you to understand other people as well and how they respond. You don't have to take on that kind of energy either if they're going through something, right? They might be in victim consciousness, and you're like, they don't act like a victim, but they might be like blast and get angry at like small things. It's because they haven't really taken ownership for whatever has not occurred, but what they're going through, or how they're feeling, and how they respond, and how they speak to people, and that kind of thing. So there's a lot here. Speaking of Moon and Pisces, these fish flying up just reminds me of that. Anywho. Judgment, critical, complimentary. Oh, we can be pretty hard on ourselves. We can also be hard on others. But I feel like we're the biggest judge of ourselves. Judger? I don't know. Probably not a word. Judge. Okay. Judgment again, a collective awakening. That's an interesting one with this card. Really pretty unicorn card here. It's showing like the magical nature of what you can do. These coils don't have to be the things that tie us down. They can be the things that almost lift us up. The hard stuff we go through, while we may not have wanted to go through it, regardless, we've been through it. And so do we let that control how we respond and react and deal and talk and all that? That's up to us. We decide that. If we let it, then we let it. If we don't, then we start to process and move through it and act in a way that we feel honors our soul, essentially. So judgment is about learning, breaking through. So you have this opportunity to really break through, I feel. This is really good. This is really nice. Not pulling any punches today. Got the Six of Portals too. So this could be like, this is from the past. Potentially even past lives, like having, you know, if there was like a dynamic, right, of like abuse or like something horrible happening. It's like in the past life, that might have happened before. It might have been the other way around, you know, and we're like, okay, these two souls are like, okay, we need to fix this in this life. Let's go through it again, but we'll come out on the other side as good people, let's say. You know, whatever that means to you. But it's like, it could be something like that. Essentially, it's something historical, the past, or has wounded the inner child as well. Didn't get too much of a like inner child feeling here, but you know, this is your reading. You know where this has come from. It's either from childhood or it's something like from a connection, relationship event. You know, and we go through pretty dangerous events, right? People that have been held hostage or something like that. It could be the gunman or whoever was from a particular religion or something like that, and then in the end we could now then hate that religion, and we could base it off, we don't like that religion because of this event that's occurred, when really it was like 1-2 people. They're not the face of everything, right? No one's the face of everything. You're not the face of like womanhood or manhood or, you know, whatever. You know, you're you, and this is about gaining independence and sovereignty over yourself. Okay, you've got the 4 of Portals. It's going to take a deep dive. I feel like this is going to take some time. You might even pick up on certain things, because this card taps into the 4 of Cups, and you usually see that as a disappointed person, not feeling like they fit in or feel heard or anything like that, or feel judged, even if that's happening or not, right? That's just this feeling. You're allowed to feel how you feel. If you feel judged, even though you have no proof or anything like that, that doesn't mean it is true. It just means the feelings are true. So honor those, and then you can start to be like, well, what's making me feel this way? Do I judge myself for this? Is this coming from my own perception of how I feel about myself, or is this coming from something that's real? And then you can start to work through it. But deep dive really makes sense. This is going to take some time. There is no speed running this type of healing or this type of processing, and getting back to our true selves. You also have heartful communication. It's highlighting art, which is interesting. See, initiate of activations. You can see this as the Page of Swords. Page of Swords kind of gives me interesting vibes mixed with like the Queen of Swords a little bit in this energy. Not so much the like harshness of the Queen of Swords, but like being able to keep up with wit, that kind of thing. You might even say things that are kind of like witty, right? But can be a little cutting. You know, take that with how it resonates. But anywho, overly, this is about communicating with self in a way that feels correct. Communicating your truth with the people that you want to communicate that truth with. you know, this is going to take some time for sure. The page is also a page, right? The pages are learning and they're open to new information. You're witty, you're intelligent, you have a lot of high mind energy. And anyone that has like a height of something also has like the shadow aspect is like very low of that. So the mind can be very strong, let's say, in pushing us and pulling us. But ultimately, all aspects of you, all your entire body has a choice on how you do and say and feel, and what you. I always say respond, because respond is like how you echo what you're feeling outwards. So I feel like that's how this one's coming through, Pile 1 for you, heartful communication. So there's a lot here to kind of break down. I do want to quickly just read these two. Sorry if I'm fading in and out. I tried to turn up the volume, but I'm also looking around for a book. So this is from the Heal Yourself Oracle cards. Look at that, opened it on the page. It says pride, it says you may be acting out of arrogance and vanity. Humility is the key here. It's interesting because there's a lot to pride, right? To the idea of what pride is. Pride can also be like not asking for help because they can do it themselves. Reach out, communicate your truth. It's really important. Communicate it with yourself first, of course, and in a way that you want to do this. But this is about empowerment, and it's right next to Tiger Spirit Rises. You have everything you need within you to complete, to feel everything you want to feel. It's all within you. It's not outside of you. Now, if you need assistance with that, like psychology, anything like that, therapists, absolutely go through to those channels. You have to look after yourselves in many ways. Okay, I'm going to leave that there, I think. Damn, I just flicked the page and it landed straight on victim consciousness. Victim consciousness says stop blaming others and take responsibility for what you are creating. And that's so true. And it's not to sound mean or anything like that. We have to take responsibility for what we're doing, right? Because we're doing it. Unless we're like an NPC, you know how people talk about NPCs these days. I think it's kind of like a not nice way of describing someone. But anywho, we don't want to be an NPC, which is kind of like being run by influence or past experience, not thinking and feeling for ourselves. And you have a lot within you. With these two cards coming through at the start and the end, there is a whole lot of soul wanting to be realized, a whole lot of inner self that potentially have been locked away, that wants to come through and be set free. There's a whole lot more to you, and you know this, than what people see and what you see through yourself as well. So, you know, while it can come across a little heavy or a little bit hard with the cards that have come through, they just want the best for you, like source, guides, you know, all that, universe, God, whatever you subscribe to. They just want what's the best for you. And also you want just what's best for you, right? Got to be on your own side as well. Don't think there's much else to really say in regards to this, but I think this one is a good one. Recognize divine timing. Know when it's right time for you to really start looking at this. You can kind of get this reading and then feel like, I'm going to leave this for a while. Absolutely fine. You're not here to do what I say, right? You're here to really listen to your own calling, your own heart, and let that goodness within you come out. Don't be afraid to let it out. Interesting getting two judgment cards. Judgment can be criticism of self and others, but also it's about growth and reflecting on the past as a learning opportunity, not judging it as like anything other than, well, in this moment in time, that's not happening to me. I need to utilize what I need to from it, release what I don't need from it, and move forward with that in mind towards goals that are more important to me than what's happened in the past. All right, I'm going to leave you alone. Thank you so much for letting me read for you, Pile 1. Hopefully this has helped. If this is you, good luck with working through all this. Be kind to yourself. Take your time with this. This will help you really evolve. You don't have to be anything other than what you want to be, not what other people say you are. You know, you're you. You decide who you are. If you're working with people or looking at other people that you're dealing with in life, this may give you an in-depth, eye-opening insight to who they are and why they act the way they act. And instead of getting into judgment of that person, you might get into like an empathetic hand. Obviously, call out when things aren't, lines are being crossed. This is not to empathize so that you can be walked all over. Absolutely not. But yeah, I think it helps kind of like not compromise, but be compassionate in a sense. Okay, I'm going to leave you alone. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. Take care, Pile 1, and I'll see you in the next reading. Hello, hello, Pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. So you've chosen Goddess Maya and the Ruby Aura Quartz. So this is really interesting. Goddess Maya, from what I can see in Hinduism, is, if this is the one that I'm picking up on, is really talking about divine feminine. So potentially this could be where you know how they talk about wounding, but this could be where healing is required, or processing some information or feelings is required. So we'll have a look at this. Searing presence, really nice. This is about, you know, not forcing yourself on people, like forcing who you are and making people say that you're that, right? You know what I mean? This is really about being just very unapologetically you. So we'll have a look at how this is going to come through, because this is talking about healing or processing heavy feelings, and getting into a space where you feel confident and comfortable as who you are. It's interesting, the song playing right now has just switched to Quicksand. A song called Quicksand. I just want to say, don't feel like you can't come back from anything, or that you are, once you've done this, you're labeled that forever. You don't have to take that ownership on. Just because your parents want you to be a doctor doesn't mean you have to be a doctor, right? Or if you are a doctor, that doesn't mean you aren't also a mother, an artist, a father, I don't know, gym instructor, I don't know, whatever, you know. These are just labels. You're 100% you. So I feel like we're bringing parts of yourself back together. Maybe the masculine and feminine, especially if what we see as masculine, like males, has harmed the feminine, or what we see as females have harmed the feminine or masculine, right? You know, either or mix it all around. Either or. This is about reconnecting and not judging any parts of ourselves, any parts of others as well. This is purely for the focus of this reading is going to be just, this is just how it's feeling. I'm just talking about it because this is just what I'm feeling. Is about coming back together. You're not lost, you're not unwhole, let's say. It's just because we turn off a light doesn't necessarily mean the room has gone, right? When we turn off the lounge light or the kitchen light, the kitchen hasn't left. It's still there. We're just not utilizing it. And so I guess the idea is to switch that light back on and get back into that room so we can start utilizing it again. So this is, I guess, a metaphor for you being a house. But hopefully that makes sense. I'm also getting like a feeling for someone is like judging themselves for coming to the 3D, like coming down to Earth. I mean, easy for me to say you don't have to judge yourself for that, because as humans, don't we always judge ourselves for coming here, right? Especially you starseeds are probably like, what what did I do this for? But anywho, you know, hashtag same type thing. Like, yes, but we've come here. Don't criticize yourself. Just do what we need to do, and enjoy life where we can and where we do. And by being here, that's all you have to do. Just be yourself, be here, be present. I'll leave that as that. It's just a funny feeling I got. I was like, oh, why did I come here? I'm sure we've all felt that at some point. Okay. Thought so. All right, so this is dealing with heavy emotions. How can you deal with anything that's impacting you in your present and maybe detracting you from being the real you? Okay, so you have learn from karma. Interesting, with the sun and the moon coming through too, like our inner self, our outer self. Almost like yin and yang, push and pull as well. There is this definite sign of like masculinity, femininity. You could be in judgment of other people because of their gender, race, whatever. Not consciously, I don't think you would go out of your way to like hurt people, right? But there is this kind of like underlying something. I just don't know exactly what it is, but it looks like you've been working through this from the past. And also, I don't feel like it's like karma as in you're deserve this or anything like that. It's not that. It's more feeling like this is an opportunity to really make breakthroughs. That's why you've come here at this time. Guessing this is a starseed pile. You also have Phoenix Rising, really beautiful card here. You have to, I mean, I don't like the saying you have to break to grow, but I guess like how, I mean, I won't talk about that. But what's another example? You know how crabs or other kind of like creatures have to shed their shell to grow, or like a snake has to shed its skin? Like it's almost like they have to break essentially because they're too big for the shell, I guess. So they need to shed it. So this is kind of like that. You have to, like with destruction or with chaos or with things falling over, that's our time to make it anew. Like it's like living in a house and there's like this problem, that problem, that problem, and you don't get around to it. But then when the tornado comes through and busts open like a room or something, then it's like, okay, well, now we're going to have to do it anyway. So it kind of like motivates to get things done or get the things you want done. Okay. It's interesting talking about a house, right? Like literally, literally I was talking about a house. You as a house and then talking about the destruction of the house. So anyway, home, you've got home. This is definitely about feeling comfortable and safe within your own skin, but also within your own environment. And that can be really tough if this is coming from a place of like, what could I say? I don't want to say broken home because I don't like that term. I don't think when people divorce that they break the home. It's just more like sometimes the people divorce because if they stay together, it's just going to be toxic, right? So why stay in a toxic connection? Or when things are just not reconcilable, they need separation. So to me, that's like healthy breaking up more so than keeping a home together for the sake of whatever else, like things that other people or whatever, or even children. But I won't go too far down that path. But yeah, if you feel unsafe with who you are in your own skin, with your own mind, your own emotions, or even with people around you, that can be very difficult. And whether that's happening now or in the past, that feeling, there's something there that has kind of like potentially broken a past that still feels like it impacts you today. I don't know how, well, I mean, we'll see with the rest of the cards. I don't know how that can be reconciled exactly, but that doesn't have to be like the past doesn't have to dictate how you feel and who you are now. So there's definitely potential or like an opportunity to heal this feeling. You can't change the past, but you can ensure that the past is utilized as a lesson or learning rather than as something that tells us who we are, what we can do, or our value, right? Absolutely not. We decide what our value is. Tap into this goddess for sure. She'll show you. She's a creator. So you've got potential, and it's got confined and infinite. Seeing ourselves as limited. Yeah, this is a huge message. Like, it feels like this is a huge opportunity to really start to see yourself as infinite. You don't have to do anything specifically to prove that. Like, you don't have to invent like the wheel or something like that back in Stone Age or whatever. You know, you don't have to invent some crazy AI which I don't know, cures everyone's diseases. It's not about what you do externally, it's about how you feel internally, and knowing that you can be anything that you feel called to. And I always put it in this example, you're not going to be like called to be a basketball player if you're like, you know, in your 50s, or like I'm talking about to the NBA, if you're in your like 70s, 80s or something like that, and you're 5'2", you know, that's probably not going to be your calling. Otherwise you would have picked a different incarnation body, etc., etc., etc. You're going to be called to what you're going to be interested in, and sometimes we think it's this, but it's like adjacent to that, and so we'll go in that direction, and then we'll think, well, why didn't that work? And then we fall into here and we're like, oh, okay, I needed to go here to get to here. You know, sometimes that happens as well, but knowing your full capabilities and not limiting yourself is going to be really key here to, I guess, reconciling this past. Look at that, limits, limited, limitless. So you've got confined and infinite with limited and limitless right in the center of your reading. So true. If you didn't listen the first time, you're like, yeah. Well, what else do you want to know? It's also got that snake analogy, which I was talking about with the shedding of the skin. I don't know why. The first one I thought about was a spider shedding, because I've seen that on like a clip, and I was like, I wish I never saw it. But like, I don't have too much fear of them, but I don't want to like have them, you know, hanging around and we're going to have a party together. But still, you know, it's like that shedding of a skin, shedding of the layers, because you're so much more than you've been told you are. You're so much more than your mind's told you are. You're so much more than people have projected onto you. You're like, you know, you are infinite. I'm not talking out of my ass. I really feel that. Okay. Let's take a look at these cards, and then we'll do like a big look at overview. So you've got the Ace of Activation. This can be seen as the Ace of Swords. This is about not really rewiring your mind, but connecting to all parts, you know, turning on the lights to all of your head. Getting out of the room that you've been hibernating or hiding in your mind. Like, you know, kick him or her or them out of that room to go explore the house. Wow, this is beautiful. What's this one? This one is the Chariot. Okay, dimensional shifts of the crystalline. Ooh, that really touches on water. Water's been popping up on and off in kind of spiritual communities a lot. Probably seen, or maybe you have or haven't, Veda Austin. She's from New Zealand. She has done speeches and talks all over the world, but she creates like, it's interesting. She'll either mentally project like an idea or a word into some water, does the process of freezing it, and sometimes it will come through with like images or shapes, or she'll put in like a like she'll do like fresh water, or like from the mountains or something, and it'll come up with like trees and fish and that kind of thing. Or she will do like tap water and it's gone through like pipes and stuff, so it'll come out all jagged. So it's really interesting with, you know, what she's been looking at. But anywho, regardless of that, this is showing like growth of our own crystalline cells. This is an opportunity to really overcome, grow from it. Like these creatures here, butterflies, moths, dragonflies, they all talk about transition change because they go through big changes. Dragonflies go through a huge one, out of the water, go up to the surface and crack open and become a flying insect. You know, it's a big shift. Butterflies, we all know, go through chrysalis and moths through like a cocoon stage and then come out as moths and butterflies. So they go from their grub caterpillar, I guess, to butterfly. So it's a big shift. So you're going through the shift as well, which can feel like maybe more intense of the past popping up, which is why it's like this is an important time for some growth here. You might feel like it's a challenge or like it's a war within you, but this is really to help you expand and grow and see your true self. Like, you know, Phoenix Rising, transformation. There's butterflies and other bugs, transformation. Like a lot of like opportunity. It's a lot here. The suspended one, you've got the celestial tree of the infinite Akash. This is a big kind of title, but it's the hanged man traditionally. This is enlightenment and growth. This is a time of pause and reflection. You don't need to tell anyone who you are. You just need to live your truth through you and know who you are. That's it. You don't need to convince anyone. I know it's nice to have people support us and say, you know, I understand what you're going through or things like that. That can be super helpful. Absolutely get the help that you want or need when it comes to that. However, the way this is coming through is like, this is really for you to believe that and trust and know that, because it is true. Oh, goodness. Yeah, this is definitely the starseed kind of pile. New Earth transition right at the end. This is the moon as well. So you've got a few major kind of cards, right, from the traditional tarot coming through, excluding the ace, but the ace is a beginning. It's a new way of thinking and feeling and starting to really trust in that divine feminine energy, that like intuitive, like really start to trust it instead of being like, oh no, I'm just making that up, or like, oh, maybe that was just something in the corner of my eye. You know, you don't have to judge it. Just be like, that happened, and was it trying to teach me something, tell me something, say something? Yes, no. Okay, I'll take that message on board or I'll leave it. You know, don't doubt your intuitive self, because you're powerful here with these cards. Super powerful. Probably come from some crazy place out there. Who knows? I've been watching a few people. There's this person who popped up, is amazing, doing Reiki and stuff while studying. Americans honestly are crazy. You do so much work. You're like, I need to do this, and I'm like, oh my God, how do you do a full-time job and study and to run a business? And I'm like, do you guys rest? Anyway, obviously that could count for anyone, but I feel like Americans are really the hustlers of the universe at the moment. But anywho, considering what's happening over there and all sorts of different things, right? But won't get into far into that before I go down a rabbit hole. New Earth transition. So you are like the leader. You are a leader in this. Now, you don't have, like I said, you don't have to invent anything new. You just have to really appreciate and respect yourself, and that shows other people without actually being in front of them how to do that. You're here to help, I guess, help yourself crack open and bloom, and be the, you know, the high elevated being that you are. How do you do that? Don't let anything, anyone, especially past events, dictate your life and tell you who you are, because you know who you are. And at a soul level, you know who that is. You know your star family or where you come from. You don't need to know details. You don't need to be told online of like, oh, so I resonate with this one. Those are tools to help you. Those aren't things to tell you who you are. Same with star signs. They're there to help you. Those are tools to help you now, not tell you who you are. You tell yourself who you are. You know who you are. So much here. Anyway, I do want to read these two and then I'll leave you alone and let you go. All right, 30. Let's go to Phoenix Rising. It says here with this one, everything in your life is falling apart in order for you to rise from the ashes with renewed strength. So this is an opportunity to expand. And it's true, right? Our house will get burnt down or something will happen. Horrible event. Not great. We get enough money to rebuild, right? And we've lost some stuff, but we still have ourselves. We still have our loved ones. We still have things that are in our life that we can feel connect with. Animals, especially if you're starseed, probably more connected with animals than humans sometimes. Perfect. You know, whatever that is, your children, your parents, whatever. Okay, I'm going to leave that one. And lastly, home. Home is a quick one. It just says, how do you keep recreating home? How do you keep recreating home? That's interesting. It says here, in a world where there's so many of our natural emotions were not encouraged and yet were suppressed, you are now encouraged to feel the feelings trapped inside you that constantly sabotage your life. For some of us, home was an amazing, empowering, and happy place, but for most of us, it was lacking. There was unease and hurt. This is imprinting on your nervous system, which forces the dysfunction you had with your parents to rise to the surface with your current partner and people close to you. That might be very specific for someone. I don't usually read the whole thing, but that could be specific as well. It's like certain past things are impacting your current connections as well. Don't let that happen. You're so much more than the one event that's occurred in one life. So much more. All right, I don't know if I've actually said anything assisting you. This is just you recognizing your own divinity, your own worth, your own values, and starting to make the small changes day by day. If you fall back on old habits, don't judge yourself. Let yourself, like, give yourself a break. Be kind to yourself. Like, you know, let yourself be sometimes. Like, it's okay, right? Take ownership for what you did or have done, but don't judge yourself or criticize yourself that you can't change or make the shifts that you want to see in your life, because you absolutely 100% can. You're clearing some of this early. Learn from the past. Don't let it take hold of you and pull you into like a loop on anything. Interesting song. It's called I'm Hearing Voices. Anyway, I'm going to leave that here. Thank you so much for letting me read for you today. Starseeds, because I know you are. I'll let you go. Thank you again. Appreciate your energy and time, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Hello, hello. Welcome to your reading pile number 3. So you've chosen the goddess Wang Mu with Stromatolite. And the message here is rare success. This is an interesting one to get in this type of reading. I have no idea what's going to come through. The other two kind of like gave me a hint with the card, the main card. But this one, it's an interesting one. I don't know if you're going into... I don't know, it's kind of like there's purpose and meaning for going into a shadow or going into this, like what's happened. I don't know. It's a hard one. But I guess I don't need to think too much about the one card and feel what comes through. We'll get the other cards to explain it fully so we can give you a nice message. All I hear is like truth. 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 It's really what's coming through. Okay. Okay, so we'll grab some cards for you. So all very interesting cards that I picked. They're all actually made by Australian women. I guess the creator, the illustrators might mix, but yeah, all of them except this one. This one's, I'm pretty sure she's American. So the card you've picked with, but all the rest are Australian creators. Okay, we're gonna grab that one because it almost wants to leap out anyway. Don't have too much room, but we'll make it work. A rare success. It's interesting because it's almost like you got through on the skin of your teeth, right? That kind of feeling. It's like it's almost like amazing you're here type thing in some parts, or it's amazing someone in your life is here, or it's surprising you made it through that, whatever that is, like surviving a horrible crash or something, or like plane crash, you know, something big that's like, you know, it's a blessing that you've made it through. Or even just like difficulties with people or places or something, like, I don't know, this rare success feels like that. There's like part of it's like a boon of growth, of opportunity to grow. But it's almost like whatever this is pertaining to, for some of you, it feels like the past was like, you're meant to go through some challenges, right? But this was something else. Like there was like, this had a little bit more than what you anticipated would occur from this connection or this past event. Now the rare success is coming through. But you're a lot more stronger than potentially what people give you credit for even. But that's okay. Don't need to be told how strong you are by others. You just need to know it. It's like, it's almost like thinking if only they knew what I'd gone through, that type of thing. But again, they don't need to. You already know it. So that's an interesting feeling. We'll have a look at what else comes through. Remember, this is to be supportive. It's not really to just tell you what you already know. It's really to be supportive and how you can help yourself either deal with the event or just like something that's come from this. We'll have a look at what's going to come through. You've got assimilate life experiences. Absolutely. Your real message here today will be to, I guess, integrate every part of who you are from the past and reconcile, leave, cleanse, purify the parts that you don't want. The event will still have had happened, right? It doesn't go away. Nothing really disappears. But this is like a message today of, you know, assimilate in a sense. So learn, take the silver linings for what the silver linings had to offer, especially if it was quite difficult. You know, you may as well utilize that in learning and taking that as like what made you you and gave you power and strength to overcome, or at least resilience, right? There's a lot here with this one. There's a lot there. All right, we've got a lot of these cards. So I'm going to put that one there for now. So you've got wish, you've got despairing and hopeful. This is a lot. This feels like a lot just because it's like there was like hopes and dreams, right? There's hopes and dreams that this will not be how you're defined. You decide that. Now how you process this is going to take time. It's going to take your desire, but you've probably already overcome a lot of it or many parts of it. Respect yourself and congratulate yourself for those parts as well. Congratulate yourself for being here is really how it's feeling. That doesn't have to be the thing that holds you back mentally. Of course, you're going to have times where things are not always in balance. Everyone's going to do that as well. But like, not comparing you to anyone, but it's just like, you know you know how to look after yourself, you know how to honor your body and self, right? So get back to your what is it? They're showing me like the center. What is that? I guess it's like center yourself whenever the things start getting wild, like mentally, emotionally, that kind of thing, because it's going to help you stay centered or calm you to balance. But yeah, whatever you've gone through is going to be like, it's hard to say it's going to be a blessing, because it's like, I guess the events weren't really blessings, right? But they definitely are something that you have ability to learn from, a lot of learning. Okay, so you also have awareness, which comes through as foolish and also comes through as conscious. Conscious is like not denying any part of yourself, recognizing all parts of yourself make you you. And this is right next to assimilate life experience. Don't be afraid to take the learnings from that. You don't have to take all the hardship and relive it. That's not what they're saying at all. But it's like, don't put it off and pretend like things didn't happen. Acknowledge it, because that could be where things are starting to roll over into your relationships, into your work life, into how you feel about yourself. It could be stemming from something that happened in the past. Damn, you got the transformation card, repressed and activated. This is definitely an opportunity here. It says here, find your wings. Yeah, you're a soul that's had some kind of like challenge, right? Some kind of big event, some kind of situation which has been challenging. So this is really like, I guess it's like, it's definitely pulling on my heart center. But it doesn't have to be like, it doesn't define you, you define yourself by finding all parts of yourself and assimilating them, essentially bringing them back to who you are. Okay, so kind of like a tough one. You've got procrastination. This could be just saying that like, this is a good time to start lighting that candle and moving forward in life, right? Taking what you want with you. However, it's about just like giving yourself permission to be yourself, or okay, or like knowing that you're enough, that kind of energy with the procrastination. Yeah, you've also got wild. This is a really nice card coming in the middle. It's like, let yourself be who you truly are, essentially. Like, that's one, like, give yourself permission to be you, is really coming through. All these past things are here to not dictate the future, not dictate the now. They're really here to be reflected on and shifted, processed, however you want to word it. Take it or leave it, like those kind of energies. Take it or leave these energies, but you're here to expand and get back out there with people. Love yourself, you know, that kind of thing. Okay. Look at the tarot. So you've got the action plan with 2 of light codes. Definitely interesting action plan right next to procrastination, right? If the 2 of light codes was reversed, like 2 of wands, it would feel like that would be the procrastination. So it's like, you have an idea of how to not just process this, but to live, and your guides are on board. You've also got persistent presence. That's interesting. 9 of light codes, 9 of wands is that person who's had their fire kind of like, I wouldn't say doused, because that's not how it feels. It's just more like they've had to go through things, right? They've had to push to get to where they are now. You're so close to the finish line is the card generally, and it's like, you're so close there. Keep going. You've built up a lot of resilience, and yeah, you're so close to coming to a place where you can rest and feel like it's time to recover, without feeling like you're controlled by the past. Ooh. You also have alignment of the heart. This is where I felt the pull. This is card 11 as well, and we've got justice coming through. The justice card. This is about honoring yourself as well. You know, we can get into balance by thinking that if we hurt this person because they hurt me, that will be balance, right? Now, if this is going through some kind of legal thing, if you go in with integrity and truth and speak your mind and be honest with what's occurred, I would say regardless of what happens, you win because you've done what you needed to do with integrity. That's how it feels. I don't know if that's like part of what's actually happening, but that's how it feels. It's like, take the high road. I remember saying that one time, people were like, oh, I'm always told to take the high road. I'm sick of it. Okay, of course, you have free will. You can take like the muddy road and sling mud at each other, but both of you are just going to end up dirty. No one really wins, right? There is no win. Like in the low road, there's like win-loss. It's like Five of Swords type energy. It's like win-loss. Well, how is that going to be helpful? Now, people need to be held accountable, of course, and you need to call out when things need to be called out. But you don't have to lower yourself to that vibration of what's either occurred or what is happening now and sit in there and play their game. You know, take yourself straight out of the game. That's what this is just like personal, but this is what I try to do. Instead of like slinging mud at each other when things go wrong or difficult people decide to, you know, enter into like conversation or anything like that, I'm not really there to participate in it. I will call out bad behavior, of course, but I'm not going to go backwards and forwards. It's not worth my time, honestly. And if they want to discuss things further, you know, they have to get into a place where we can have proper discussions, not just mudslinging. So much light codes. This is definitely bringing back your fire. You've got direction and delegation. Yeah, you've got a lot of cards saying you know what to do, or you know when, like, how far you've come. You've done a lot of the work. You've either looked at it, parts, some of it, whatever. It's fine to do all of that or none of that or bits of that. Like, you know, this is your reading, so you know where you're at with your particular message here. But it is really touching on, you know, focus on what's important, where you are now. Even though we're talking about past actions, interacting with now, you're not going back to relive it. You're reflecting on it, reviewing it, and taking what resonates from the past and leaving what doesn't. Cutting of those old cords, that type of thing. This is about transformation and growth. Okay, I'm going to read these two, and then I think we'll leave that one. And then I'll do like a recap. Procrastination says you need to change your tune and stop putting things off to tomorrow that you can do today. So this is kind of like touching on this. And wild, so the wild card here says there is wild, untamed spirit inside you, desperate to be unleashed. Free it and claim the gifts of energy, power, passion, and creativity it offers you. So it's definitely, this is not here to break you. This is here to, you know, propel you, essentially. This is here to get you into this potentially creative energy, right? Utilizing what has been to do something with that. I don't know what that is exactly, but that's going to be your own kind of flavor, your own personal spice in life. Whether that's creative, whether that's like stepping up into a higher position in a job, like whatever, whether it's like, you know, starting to take hold of the reins over your life. You know, a lot is here. I've seen people who are powerful people but don't recognize it and let themselves just be kind of controlled in a way and not in a negative way, like they're not being controlled as in you have to do this, that kind of thing. It's just like they no longer trust themselves, and potentially the other people around them don't trust them either. So they're doing things for them. They're not empowering them. They're just like, okay, I'll do this for you. I'll get this for you. Do you want this? I'll go get this for you. That kind of thing. And it just takes away their own power. Got to trust yourself to potentially make mistakes and that kind of thing. Don't be afraid to. The procrastination is coming through to a little bit call you out. Even if this has been challenging, it's, you know, take your time, but also, you know, when it's time. Okay. I don't know how you do this, but I think it's just letting yourself be you, letting those plans play out. Let it be free, let yourself be free. Okay. Hopefully this helps you, pile 3. I know it's probably a little bit of a short one, but interesting cards coming through, especially with Wish. You have a desire, and that's really been held off. They're like pushing you, like even if some of the other stuff doesn't resonate, it's like go forward with plans you've already got. Don't hold back. You're here to find your, like, you know, those things that help you soar. Let's get out of the mud and into the sky. Okay, I'll leave you be. Thank you so much, pile 3. Love the reading. You know, this is really nice. If you need assistance and that type of thing, definitely speak to those people that you can resonate with. Leave me a comment if you want to talk about this one, because it is a big one. There's probably layers and layers and layers, especially because this is a general reading, right? Because it's lots of people could have picked this, but yeah, it's a really important message, and I really hope it helps you. So take care of yourself as always. I'll see you next time.